Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix. I'm Don Chorus. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io, but if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to Patreon. It's $3 a month. So, the last Let's Play, we went to bed with Klaus. Or to be more specific, we went to bed and then Klaus snuggled up underneath the covers with us because he's a cuddler and very affectionate. But then we woke up and he was nowhere to be seen. Also, we're snowed in as with all the other routes, but he's still nowhere to be seen. What's happening? Anyways, let me reorient my face a bit. And we good. There are many risk factors for dementia and other neurological age-related diseases, including genetics, blood pressure, physical activity, and other lifestyle choices. Slower cognitive decline was observed in patients adhering to a Mediterranean diet. Okay, maybe I should do that. And a correlation with consumption of omega-3 long-chain polyunsaturated fats was observed as well. Speaking of which, I should probably have my fish pills. I don't eat fish, so taking those pills is probably good for me. It's fish oil. The lecturer voice lulls me. The topic of the lecture is quite interesting, but my mind is elsewhere. Next to me, Link snores lightly, but he looks so peaceful that I decide against waking him up. The thought of Klaus might come to one of those lectures. I thought Klaus might come to one of the lectures, but so far, I haven't spotted him at all. Did he even come here to learn? I feel myself getting angry at the cat. Is he actually doing anything in the science club? Or did he join just for the benefits? But look who's talking. I haven't even opened my notebook yet. Oh, who am I kidding? I won't be able to focus on lectures before I find Klaus. Maybe I'll see him somewhere during the break. Miko asked me to go on a walk with him, but I might check the rest of the guest house first. Snow everywhere, like it's winter in some kind of North European country, covering everything I can see, white, reflective, shapeless, so bright it's blinding me. It covers even me. If I stood like this for a few hours, I would become a snowman myself. Dark, you're awfully quiet today. Is something troubling you? I turn towards Miko. He's looking at me with worry. This sampler he was playing with, laying on his backpack next to him. I'm not that quiet. Not more than the usual, at least. I've known you for long enough to see there's something wrong. I'm gonna ignore you. And I'm gonna tell him about Klaus. Not exactly wrong. You remember Klaus? Black Cat? He's not exactly easy to forget. I saw him in the forest yesterday, acting really strange. When I saw him later that day, I ran after him to get some answers. I ended up sleeping over at his room, but in the morning, he disappeared somewhere. He left before I even woke up, and I wake up rather early. No, I mean Rune wakes up earlier than you, Devin wakes up earlier than you, Klaus wakes up earlier than you. Who else does? He left the door open and vanished into thin air. The only place I didn't check was the cabin where Dan lives. But I don't even know where it is, only the general direction. I thought it was the meadow. Though I guess him trying to find the meadow would be a bit difficult too, even though he's been there twice. Going there alone, in this weather, doesn't sound like a good idea though. It's already getting late. There's just 15 minutes off the break left. Should we head back? I think I'll stay here. I'm not that interested in the next lecture, and I'd like to finish this piece before that. You can find the way back to the guest house yourself, right? Sure, between the two of us, I was always the one with the better sense of direction. See you in a while then. Sure. I thought about skipping lectures altogether, but in the end, I decided that I had nothing better to do. So, here I am, hearing about quantum dots and their applications in experimental therapy, regretting my decision. Quantum dots. What does that mean? Called semiconductor nanocrystals are semiconductor particles a few nanometers in size having optical and electrical properties that differ from those larger particles and result in quantum mechanics. Experimental therapy. Huh. I think I'll just go take a leak and not come back. I stand up and walk between the other students to the exit. The only nice thing about remote lectures is I don't feel the lecturer's eyes following me to the door. I close the door behind me, clutching my still empty notebook. Come on, Dark, or Arvo, pull yourself together. Why am I like this? Can I just regain my curiosity for half a day? I can't. With a sigh, I head to my room to get my jacket. Should I turn left here already? The forest definitely looks different during the day than it did last night, when I was chasing Klaus. I was sure we went past the arching tree before the clearing, but I don't recognize this place. I think I'm lost. At least, I can always go back by retracing my paw steps, but I didn't come here to give up this easily, even if I've already been walking for half an hour. Walk deeper into the forest. Dense branches close over me, obscuring the light, and I walk in the dusk, stumbling on the roots hidden under the snow. The forest around me feels like one living organism, indifferent to my presence. Still, I can't help but feel like an intruder. I push through the branches and snow, trying to find any familiar shapes or patterns, to no avail. I have no idea where I am. And I'm making zero progress. Another lonely caw sounds from somewhere in the distance. I stop and look up at the sky, searching for the cawing bird, calling. Branches like hands reaching out to the sun. Tuning in the antennas to heaven, waiting for a new dawn. Not in the mood for lectures. I jump, startled, almost tripping over my feet. My heart beats faster, pumping adrenaline through my dilating veins. Klaus, where the hell have you been? Here and there. Mostly here, though. There was not much interesting happening back at the guest house. What about the lectures? What about breakfast? I brought food with me, and didn't see anything interesting in the schedule. You know, theoretical knowledge comes in handy, but I always preferred a more hands-on approach. How did you find me? Oh, easily. The lectures should be concluding about now, so I went to fetch you from the guest house. But I heard someone tripping on roots repeatedly, so I took a detour to see who was making so much noise. You got lucky. I rubbed my neck in embarrassment, looking away. Was it really this loud? Why were you looking for me, though? I told you, I did introduce you to Dan, didn't I? Well, more like suggested it would happen, if I'd be up for it. Yes, but it was obvious you were interested, and when I say something, I mean it. Come on now. Don't be good. Dan started cooking already. You'll help with vegetables. Wait, cooking? Yeah, he cooks for himself anyway, so he invited us to share a meal with him. What about dinner at the guest house? We'll miss it. We'll make someone who wants to go for seconds happy then. Looks like I don't really have a say in this, do I? Klaus is right. I am curious enough to follow. I follow his paw steps, careful not to trip this time. Oh, this looks kind of ominous. Though the cabin itself looks better than I expected. The situation on the meadow, picturesque and cozy. If not for the weather, this would be a perfect postcard view. This place must look stunning at night, with the northern lights shimmering above. It's the kind of scene that wins photographers' awards. Now it's just early evening, though dark and gray. Chilling, isn't it? If you watch too many horror films, maybe. I haven't. I don't like films. Come now, Dan's waiting for us. I gulp. The gravity of the situation finally hits me, now that the cottage is a real thing standing in front of me, and not a vague idea of an adventure. I'm about to go into a stranger's cottage that's in the middle of nowhere. A guy from uni who I know next to nothing about. Klaus? I don't know if this is a good idea. Having second thoughts? What's up? You've never visited someone in their own home? Not someone I didn't know. You're about to get to know Dan. Klaus goes the distance to the cabin in a few steps and knocks at the door. The door opens, and he walks in, gesturing to me to follow him. For a moment, I want to turn away and go back to the guest house, but that would be rude, wouldn't it? I close the door, leaving the cold forest behind me. It's warm in here. The heat seeps through my fur, warming my numbing face and paws. The room smells of cooking, a mouth-watering aroma of tomatoes and paprika. I start salivating instantly. I didn't even notice when I had gotten so hungry. There's the guy, but he doesn't look like a big muscular wolf. He just looks like a regular wolf. Good Middag. Jen der dan. Det jag lig a mot sterk. I did a little bit of reading for German, I attempt to learn German, and it's kind of weird when you see something like this and it's like something different. It's not A or A. Also, look at this guy here. It's like, just me with my gruffness in my hat. Good Attermeg. Sorry, my knowledge of Norwegian is pretty basic, but it's nice to meet you too. Do you speak Finnish or English? Ah, my apologies. Klaus didn't tell me you're a foreigner too. I am. I moved to Norway just a few months ago for studies. Where are you from? I'm an American. I lived in Washington for most of my life. I learned a bit of Norwegian before coming here. I'm not very good at it either. Oh, Washington. Life in the capital must be quite good. He doesn't seem scary at all. I was sure Klaus would find a real weirdo, but this guy seems to be okay. Though, I guess you have to be at least a bit scary to live in a place like this for most of the year. Must be a drastic change from the capital city of the United States. Not that Washington, it's a state to where Seattle is, and where it rains all the time. My students, I'm not tired. Please don't stand at the door, though. Come on in, sit wherever you like. Only now, I look around the cabin. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It looks just like a usual cabin in the woods does. There's a kitchenette with an electric stove, a table with 2 benches, deeper into the room, a separate hearth for heating, and a mezzanine that likely serves as a bedroom. I guess it's that thing up top. At one wall, there's also a desk and an impressive collection of books spanning the whole 2 cabinets. I can't see from there, but something tells me that if I checked, all the books would be neatly organized by the genres and sorted by authors. It's all very tidy and makes an inviting impression. Dan definitely takes care of the place and it shows. It's a nice cabin. It has a homely feeling to it. Thank you. It's my home after all. Oh right, homes feel homely. Got it. By the way, Klaus mentioned you might need some help in the kitchen. He did? Oh, he was just messing with you. He's interested in helping me, stubborn as he is, but we're already done with everything. Besides, I invited you for dinner. You're my guest. I couldn't put any work on you. Sit back, and don't worry. Food will be ready in a moment. Then we can eat and talk. I sit down on one of the benches at the table. It's a simple wooden construction, perfectly plain, but not uncomfortable. It's really warm here, thanks to the small hearth. So I take off my jacket and put it on the floor behind me. Dan walks away to the kitchenette, grabs a spatula, and stirs the content of a wide pot. In the meantime, Klaus sits down next to me, eyeing me with interest. I'm impressed, you know. I didn't really think you would come. You're an interesting one, Dark. I guess my curiosity is stronger than my common sense, but I doubt it's a good thing. If you're not curious, then you're already dead inside. A heart like stone, calcified. A frozen boulder. Death of curiosity is a brute burial of the soul. Oh, I'm starting to understand why these two hang out together. Oh, look at you and your autism. Being very autistic. Good thing, I still have a lot of it then. By the way, what are you cooking? It smells heavenly. Dan approaches us with a tray with 3 bowls, their contents steaming. A simple lekso. It's a Hungarian stew dish made with peppers, onions, and tomatoes. Okay, let's look up this thing. Lekso. Okay, now can I put this on a thing without all that stuff being up there? Okay, let's have Internet Explorer. You're our only hope. No! I don't want Internet Explorer to be my main thing. Okay. Close. It's so you don't see all my tabs. Okay, new window. There you go. That stuff. Images. Look at all that food. It does look pretty tasty. Discard. Discard. We're still recording, right? Okay, cool. Just remove that. Remove. There we go. And that. That's my face. Yeah, it's good. He puts down a tray in the middle of the table, revealing a large platter of thick-cut bread served along with the stew, and sits down on the opposite bench. It's a simple meal, but I hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you. I'm grateful for the invitation, let alone the food. It's a host's duty to feed their guests. Now let's eat. It's best consumed hot. We grab our bowls, man, I'm hungry. Sometimes when I get pretty hungry, I start chewing on the inside of my mouth, and I don't know why. Full of colorful stew and a slice of bread. The bread seems to be homemade, and with a crunchy crust and a delicious smell. It's even still warm. I take a spoonful of Lexco. It's spicy, spicier than I thought, but nothing I couldn't handle. It's really good. ASMR. Tastes very fresh, as if vegetables were just picked from the garden. Not in this weather and climate, unfortunately. I am growing peppers myself. I have a few pots with them, but the majority of the ingredients come from the store. Respect for the ingredient can really elevate a dish. I never tried Leccho before, but I love simple dishes like these that focus on basic ingredients with minimal processing. I get tomatoes for it. Klaus smiles while eating, seemingly in high spirits. So I suspect you have some questions, Dark? Am I wrong? No, the situation is a bit puzzling to me. It's surreal, but at the same time feels oddly usual. I'd like to know something more about you. I know that you're from the US, but when and why did you move here? The place where I lived, while it inspired me immensely, felt too familiar. I was seeking solitude, and I found it here, in this remote cabin I bought from the daughter of its previous owner. I met her in my hometown when she was on tour with her band, and we became friends. The cabin was in poor condition when I got it. I renovated it myself, bought some new furniture, and some I made on my own, like this table we're sitting at. Why were you seeking solitude? And if that's the case, why did you invite Klaus and me here? I was seeking solitude to see further than before, to dive deep into myself and the nature that surrounds this place. I had feelings I had to think through. And okay, that's the weird sound my breath's making. And I wanted to forget all the thoughts and melt into the world around me. The borders of the consciousness flutter and blur. The wind pushes through, shattering the boundary. I got here this summer, and I plan on staying here for the winter and then coming back. And why I invited you here? This place gives me plenty of solitude. It's remote enough that I don't get visitors at all. The occasional trip to town for groceries is all the interactions with others I have. So, when I saw someone walking here, visiting the grave of the previous owner of this cabin, I simply got curious. Klaus wanted to bring you along, and I had nothing against it. Closing the doors and the windows and locking myself in the opposite of what I want to do here. Here's the doors and windows. In is the opposite. Okay. So, what exactly are you doing here? I'm writing, mostly. Though, being here, I got into painting too. It's endlessly relaxing. Right, Klaus mentioned something about Dan being a writer yesterday. What do you write? Mostly poems. They are concise and can carry a lot. A poem can hold the same ideas as a whole novel in just a few lines. Writing them feels like getting to the heart of things, to something that's beneath, something real. Poems strive to touch the heart of the experience of being a person, of existing. To be a writer is to look for the meaning of an apparent meaninglessness of the days passing. Oh, this is getting a bit harder for me. Yes, well said. I'm learning from you, after all. Do you think there really is a solid meaning? When you think about it, no, not really. But when you put down the books and go for a walk, or meet with your friends, you can feel it. It's nebulous, it's formless, it slips out of your grasp. If you try to inspect it, you inevitably come to the conclusion that it's simply not there. What the fuck are we talking about? Yet our experience of it is real. That's why you can't write about it directly. It emerges in the in-between. Isn't happiness the meaning? I would argue that happiness isn't the point itself. It's what you experience when you're at peace with the world around you. And through it, you can look for meaning. Isn't happiness just, well, happiness? You know, what you feel when you have a good day, when things are going right, when you eat the food you like. I get into the details and talks about oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, but I doubt Dan would understand me at all. Discussion would be on two completely different levels. Happiness is not the same as joy. It's not when you build all your ambitions and dreams and achieve everything you want to achieve. Happiness is when you wake up every day thinking how good it is to be alive. Happiness is loving life unconditionally. Real happiness can only be found inside. That makes sense. Wouldn't this be debilitating, though? Distracting from achieving anything? No. This true happiness motivates like nothing else. When you're truly happy, you want to share that happiness. Do something with it. This happiness cannot sit still. You seem to have been thinking a lot about this. There's one dilemma related to happiness I was thinking about when I encountered during my studies, and I'm curious about your opinion. If we could hack the brain into feeling happiness, would that be moral? Oh, but we can. That's what drugs like opium and heroin do. And no, I don't think it's moral. If happiness was the point of being, then we'd all lie down and keep injecting ourselves with drugs. Yet, such an image invokes only repulsion. For me, it's clear that the point lies elsewhere. I don't agree with you. Not about the nature of happiness, but I don't think it's useful. Distracting at best. If I'd be at peace with the world around me, if I was fully satisfied, then there wouldn't be anything more left to do. The search never ends, because there are no final answers. About the meaning, I think that the only source of meaning is what's beyond this world. Our experience is grounded in the reality around us, but we can reach deeper beneath this veil. Nothing in this world has an intrinsic value, yet we can feel the significance of things. That's why I'm sure there has to be something more, something we can feel beneath this surface, something we can tap into. I refuse to believe that this mortal shell is all I am. I'm done. Thank you for the meal. Looking down my plate, I see I finished all the leshko too, and I didn't even notice when. Thank you. It was delicious. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anyway, Dan, I think it's dark outside enough now. I'd like to try out what we discussed yesterday, if you'll allow. Sure. I'm curious about the results. Wait, what do you plan to do? Oh, you know, human sacrifice. Something really cool, hopefully. What? That doesn't really fill me with confidence, you know? I've been studying Thelma and Enochian magic for some time, and evocations in particular. I practice a bit, but never found a good place for it. But the spot here, it's perfect, and I have two here. You'll help me a bit. Invocations? Evocations. What are you trying to do here? I want to rip through the veil of reality, or at least bring forth the ghosts of the forest. Pouring enough energy into them, I should be able to give them material form. Dan, are you okay with this? I'm rather sure it won't work, but as I said, I'm curious and like to see it. It won't work. Of course it won't work. Magic isn't real. Whatever Cuss is trying to do here is doomed to failure. I can't help but feel a bit uneasy. Well, here's the thing. I think we're at the 30-minute-ish mark, and while it's not a scene change, I think it might be a good time to do it, because it could either be another 30-odd minutes, or I don't know. Who knows? Also, there's a mirror there. So, end of this Let's Play. So, please comment, guys. I like comments. Don't you like, dislike, tips, tricks. Otherwise, if you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the step it grow. And please remember to spend your ammo step, control the pet population. And if you're interested in playing this game, it's available for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to Patreon, $3 a month. And until next time, I'll say, me, GamerWolfSix, of Dawn Chorus, Class's Root. So thanks and see you.